Seguimos en Vencejos Suite Radio, en este maratón, gracias a la excusa que tenemos de celebrar el Día Mundial del Vencejo, y nos ha traído, los vencejos siempre nos traen buenos regalos y buenas cosas, y nos han traído hoy a Sara Gibson, una amante, realmente una amante de los vencejos, de tal manera que ha conseguido plasmar en un libro todo su amor por ellos, su estudio, y bueno, nos va a contar algunas cosas de su libro y todas sus experiencias con los vencejos. También tenemos a Elena de Ecourbe, que también nos va a ayudar un poquito, y va a hacer la entrevista a ella, a Sara, y aquí las vamos a dejar para que disfrutéis de toda su conversación, porque esto es una conversación entre amigos. Gracias, Sara, thank you very much, gracias, Elena, y aquí os dejo con los amigos que nos están viendo. Sara, me
gracias.
voy a quitar yo.
Gracias. Hi, Sara.
Hi, Elena.
Well, we're here celebrating World Swift Day, and you have a lot to tell us about Swift, because I know that you have been writing a wonderful book about Swift. We met 1 year ago, I think it was 1 year ago, maybe, or two?
Maybe two, I think.
Maybe 2 years, it was 2 years ago.
Oh no, maybe it was last year.
I'm not sure, but well, we have a lovely talk about Swift and nature and all this stuff in Sevilla. So I think we can have this similar speed and everyone can hear us. Le estoy diciendo a Sara que ella tiene mucho que contar sobre los vencejos porque ha escrito un libro titulado Vencejos y nosotros, donde habla de las relaciones de los vencejos con las personas. Sara y yo nos conocimos el año pasado en Sevilla porque vino para entrevistarme en relación a su libro, donde cuenta todas estas historias. Sara, I would like to ask you, what's your relation with Swift? Le estoy preguntando a Sara cuál es su relación con los vencejos.
Well, until about 10 years ago, I knew very little about Swifts. But then I moved from the countryside into a town, and straight away I was fascinated by Swifts, and I just fell in love with them.
So it was 10 years ago that you started to know about Swift.
Yes, yes. I knew they existed before, but I wasn't really tuned into them in the same way that I am now. It seems very odd, but I suppose I was like a lot of people and I didn't really notice them so much.
Okay, that's so you know more about Swift when you went to the countryside, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to translate. Sara dice que ella hace tan solo 10 años que comenzó a conocer del mundo de los vencejos cuando se trasladó a un pueblo. And what is the most interesting thing about Swift?
Swifts have an amazing lifestyle. They eat, sleep, drink, preen their feathers. Everything's done in flight. It's just wonderful.
Le he preguntado a Sara que qué es lo que cree que es más fascinante de los vencejos. Dice que es su modo de vida por hacer todo en el aire. And why you decide to write a book about Swift?
I was looking for a new project to do. I'd had a long period of illness, and I couldn't go back to do my old job the way I had been. And I thought, well, I enjoy writing. I'm interested in Swifts. And I was very excited straight away to be thinking of doing this. And also because at that time, there was no book in print. David Lack's famous book about Swifts in a Tower, had been out of print for a long time. And I just wanted to share my enthusiasm for Swifts with other people.
And what's your book about? About Swift and...
It's about Swifts and people. It's a lot about the life of the Swift, their history, their biology. It goes back right to finding fossils of Swifts 50 million years ago. Well, not finding them 50 million years ago, but showing that they existed 50 million years ago. And I also met a lot of Swift conservationists, because the book talks about the problems as well. So that is how I met Elena.
Yes, that was
I met Swift conservationists in Switzerland, Italy, Spain, Northern Ireland, and of course in the UK as well.
Okay, I'm going to translate. Le he preguntado a Sara que por qué ha hecho un libro sobre los vencejos. Me ha dicho que porque quería comenzar su nuevo proyecto, y en su libro, que va a estar escrito en inglés, habla sobre la biología y también sobre las perspectivas que le han dado conservacionistas que ella ha conocido a lo largo de todo el mundo. And Sara, can you repeat the places where you have been and you have met these conservationists?
I've met conservationists in Italy, Spain, Switzerland, Northern Ireland, and in mainland UK as well.
Sara ha conocido personas relacionadas con la conservación de los vencejos en Italia, en España, en Suecia y en Reino Unido. And Sara, how did you meet this person? You traveled to every country to meet them?
That's right, yes. All my holidays for about 5 or 6 years were geared around meeting Swift people in different countries. And
Whoa.
It was inspirational.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you spent 6 years traveling?
No.
Only in vacations? Only in vacation?
Yes.
Of 6 years you have been traveling to meet this person?
Yes, that's right.
Wow. Sara dice que para escribir su libro ha estado de entre 5 y 6 años visitando estos países que os he comentado para conocer a las personas que trabajaban con los vencejos. Ha ido en sus vacaciones. And what has been the more inspirational story you have known in this adventure?
I couldn't choose one over another. Everybody is doing different work in different countries, and in Switzerland, yes, they're raising awareness. They're putting up thousands of Swift boxes. They're changing the regulations, but all these things are happening in all those countries I've mentioned, and in Spain you're doing some fantastic work championing the causes of Swifts.
Yes, in Switzerland I know they're doing a great job with Swift conservation, because at the university I think they have a lot of next boxes.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about this?
Or even just, there's a guy who lives in the Jura Mountains, and he has put up made himself and put up more than 1,000 boxes in his hometown. Just individual examples of people really doing their absolute best to give Swifts a better chance.
Okay. You mean in his own house?
In his own house and in other houses in the town.
Okay.
All around the town.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Le he preguntado a Sara que cuál de todas las historias que ha conocido le ha parecido más inspiradora. Y dice que en Suiza conocía a una persona que tenía toda su casa llena de 100 cajas para vencejos en el pueblo, y que también había colocado cajas en otras casas del pueblo. Well, this is incredible, these things. And what else can you tell me about these people you have met? What do you think they have in common?
A passion for Swifts. And many of them have been bird watchers since they were young. Quite a lot of them work in museums, natural history museums. they're all just besotted with swifts, and they're practical people who want to do things that will really make a difference so that swifts can go on nesting, breeding, sailing through our skies forever.
Yes, ok. Le he preguntado a Sara qué tienen en común todas las personas que ella ha ido entrevistando. Y dice que la mayoría de ellas eran personas que eran observadores de aves en su juventud, que otras trabajaban en museos de historia natural y que todas tienen en común su pasión por los vencejos y el trabajo que hacen para conservar la especie y que continúen llenando nuestros cielos. What else? You said you've been in 6 or 7 countries in Spain, I mean in Europe. In which one have you seen more swift in the sky?
Well, the funny thing was, it should have been when I was in Switzerland. First time I went in December, so no swifts. But I spoke to the person I wanted to meet. But I went back a couple of years later in the middle of summer, and Bernard Jonton had told me how exciting it was in the evenings because around his house there were 40 pairs of swifts nesting. Well, when I arrived in the middle of summer, after months of cloudless skies, it was torrential rain. So I really didn't see many swifts at all in Switzerland.
Wow.
I saw many, Spain and Italy. I saw thousands of swifts. It was wonderful in Seville. I was amazed.
In Seville, yes.
I was amazed, yes.
Ok. Le he preguntado a Sara que en cuáles de todos los países que ha visitado ha visto más vencejos. Me ha dicho que en la casa de Bernard, claro, porque él es la persona que tiene toda su casa llena de cajas de vencejos, y que luego también en Italia y en España, en Sevilla. And what the difference in swift population in UK and, for example, in Spain or Italy? There are less, and
I
why?
think we have evidence of a strong decline in the UK. We think there's been a 50% decline in breeding population in the last 20 years, and that is very, very worrying. I think things are better in Europe, but the same trends are evident there as well. There's still the same problems of buildings being renovated, holes being blocked off, and the same problems with intensive agriculture and perhaps a reduction in the number of insects around. But who knows, some of the problems for swifts may lie on their migration routes, even in their wintering areas. There's an awful lot of change happening in Africa, over in the forest of Congo, all sorts of places. Global problem.
Yes, it's global.
Yeah.
Le he preguntado a Sara cuál es la diferencia en las poblaciones de vencejos de Reino Unido y en otras como España e Italia, porque se sabe que en Reino Unido la población ha decaído el 50% en los últimos años. Y ella dice que en Reino Unido ha decaído mucho la población porque no han tenido en cuenta la conservación y han hecho muchas cosas mal, como el tema de la arquitectura, los cultivos, que al final es básicamente lo mismo que hacemos mal en España. Y que, por supuesto, en las zonas de invernada, como es en África, también los vencejos tienen muchos problemas, que eso al final afecta a nivel global. So, in UK, you have the same problems that we have in Spain.
We do, very much so.
But why do we have more swift in Spain than in UK, if the problem is global? It's a matter of time.
Question. It may be that the swift decline has been very closely monitored in this country. Possibly there have been more people recording in the UK than in Spain. That is an unknown. It's very, very difficult to assess swift populations, as you know. They're a very difficult bird to monitor. And we're quite a small country. Spain would have a much bigger landmass than we do, so perhaps it's less of an intensively managed landscape.
It's about what?
Intensively managed, like the farming.
Okay, yeah. in farming, okay.
Yeah.
Sara, le he preguntado que por qué hay más declive en Reino Unido que en España. Ella dice que aunque en Reino Unido el declive ha sido muy grande, también puede ser que haya más personas tomando datos allí que personas que han ido tomando datos a lo largo del tiempo en España, y eso también puede reflejar los datos mayores de declive allí. Y también lo achaca al uso de la agricultura en el suelo. Okay, I want to ask you something else. Okay, we have more Swift in Spain, at least now, but do you think it's a matter of time that we can lose this amount of biodiversity?
I think you will keep your swifts. I don't think they are still a common bird, but what we have to make sure is that they stay a common bird and that we keep them abundantly in the skies.
Yeah. We do nothing in Spain to keep them.
You
no.
do.
We
do.
Well, but just a little, but we don't have measures in buildings, and people is not aware, so it's very hard here because we have a lot, but we don't care about them.
It will come. It will come.
It will come, you think so?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. That's hopeful. Okay, le he preguntado a Sara si cree que el futuro de los vencejos en España al final va a ser malo, porque aquí tenemos mucho, pero ella dice que piensa que no, que actualmente es un ave común y que debemos mantenerlo en el mismo estado y que seguramente la situación pueda ir a mejor porque estamos haciendo mucho. Okay, I would like to finish asking you sentence that can for this day, a sentence that you think is representative of World Swift Day, a message you want to send to the people is listening to us, a message of conservation, a message about love. What do you think?
I think it's so wonderful that we have this bird that is present at some point of the year in so many different countries, and so many people can focus on this one bird and it brings us all together.
Wow, okay. Le he preguntado a Sara cuál es el mensaje que tendría para el Día del Vencejo. Ella dice que le parece increíble que sea un único pájaro el que tenga a todas las personas del mundo conectados, y es verdad que eso es bastante increíble y por eso estamos aquí celebrando el Día Mundial del Vencejo. Okay, Sara, thank you.
Well, thank you, Elena. Lovely to see you. Good to meet you, Gloria, too.
Thank you very much,
We'll
Sara.
see in the Congress, Swift Congress.
Yes.
Okay.
Quería recordar a las personas que nos están escuchando que el libro que ha escrito Sara se titula en español Los vencejos y nosotros, la vida de las aves que duermen en el aire. Así que estar atentos y seguramente pronto lo tendremos entre nuestras manos. Muchas gracias, Sara. Bienvenida a esta locura de radio, de Maratón Radio. Thank you very much, Sara.
Thank
y gracias,
you, Sara.
Elena.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.